we need to talk, because if you don't know, Peacemaker Season 1 was everything to me. I don't just mean it's one of the best superhero TV shows I've ever seen. No, 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 no. I mean, ever since I saw that opening title sequence, I knew this show was something special. And it's not just one of my top superhero shows of all time, it's one of my top shows ever of all time. It's up there with Rome, baby. Obviously, there was a lot riding on this season for me, as someone that is a mega fan. So how do I feel so far about Season 2 when it comes to Episode 1? Before we get into it, just fair warning, spoilers will be happening. I'm going to be talking about the episode, and there is a lot to spoil in this episode. So if you have not watched the show yet, please go over, watch the show, watch Episode 1. You can check it out on HBO Max, or if you're in Canada, on Crave, and then come back and let's discuss. Unless you're cool with spoilers, because here they come. Obviously, going into it, there was always going to be a lot of hype. So I was very nervous watching this first episode, but overall, I feel like we're maintaining the status quo. I don't know if we've gone above what we've done before in Season 1 just yet. However, I will also say that this episode, if you've been watching the promotional material, I feel like most of the promotional material came from this episode. So every other episode, there's probably going to be more and more that's just we have no idea where it's going to go, which is exactly what I want for this show, because I'm just along for the ride. And of course, we haven't gotten Judo Master yet. Judo Master was in the promotional material, so there is stuff that we haven't seen yet. I'm not saying all of it's in here, just a lot of it is. I think the pacing for this show is a little bit interesting because, and this is kind of similar to Superman, although these two things are very different from each other, so this is not saying that they are the same at all. But the pacing is very quick, 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 quick. And so as a result of that, there is a little bit of like feeling like I need to keep up. I do love that they opened up this episode with a very thorough, I would say, recap of Season 1. Really going over everything that has led to this moment with a few tweaks. Obviously subbing the Justice Gang for the Justice League, which I really liked. I thought it was really, really cute, really funny, and a nice way to just be like, and now we're kind of doing a different thing because we've changed the direction for where we're headed in the DCU. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I like the direction so far for the DCU. But because the pace is really quick, you do need that recap, I think, jumping into it. It has been some time. I mean, Season 1 came out in 2022. It's now nearing the end of 2025, so it's been a few years. And yet this show just really wants to move right along. And so it drops you right into what's happening with these characters as though we just saw them yesterday, but it's been a few years for us. So that is a thing that I think is a little bit jarring, but I think that's going to get better as we go along into the season. And I don't even necessarily think it's a bad thing per se. It's just a thing. What I really love so far about Episode 1 and where I think it really shines is there's clearly a lot of little details, like, for example, Vigilante's obsession with owls, that I think is going to come back around later on, and where I think we're setting up a lot of little moments that are going to be relevant in some way later, where we aren't really sure right now. They just feel like little details, but I think they're going to be expanded upon. Even the fact that when Chris wakes up and it's snowing with Eagly, that whole thing feels like we're gonna call back to it at some point. Don't ask me how. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure where all of it is going yet. And if there's anything I've learned from Season 1, pay attention to these details, because as the show continues on with Season 2, I'm sure as the story sort of expands, it will then kind of start to narrow in and everything will be connected in a really rewarding way. I can already just feel that that's what we're going to be doing with Season 2, and I love that because that was my favorite part about Season 1, was just how the story folded together so nicely. I feel like everything going on with Hardcourt in this episode is actually insane, but I'm so here for it. From Hardcourt being told that she has toxic masculinity and no one basically will work with her, even though she's got a great record. She has tons of experience working in the field. She's basically being pushed out of a job, possibly because of Amanda Waller's influence. But I think the other thing with Hardcourt that I think is interesting is it Amanda Waller or some other circumstances affecting it? Or is it actually that there is something going on with Hardcourt that she needs to work on? Because, you know, we see her go into that fight later on in the episode where she basically goes to a bar to pick a fight. That was the sense I got from her entrance and just sort of the swag she has as she walks in. She knows everyone's going to be after her, and she is so ready to pick a fight. That fight sequence, one, is so sick. It's so awesome. I love how much butt Hardcourt gets to whoop, but then in the end, she also gets her butt whooped right back. But she takes on an entire bar, like, full of people. That whole time, I thought was really, really amazing and really well done, and I just can't wait to explore this idea of, you know, when you lose everything that you've decided you are, when your identity has become your work and you lose that, who do you become? And I can't wait to explore that because the emotional depth that I have seen from this show in terms of how it approached Chris's story as Peacemaker and everything that's going on with him and his family, which that is coming back around in a crazy way as well. We'll get to that in a second. But because of that emotional depth, I'm very excited to see what we do with other characters here and see, you know, what we can explore with Hardcourt and just adding a lot of layers to characters that I think already have a lot going on, but we just maybe don't get to see as much beneath the surface with them. So I'm excited to see some of these characters be a little bit vulnerable, a little bit more vulnerable as they kind of crumble apart and we get to see all these different elements of them. I'm very excited to see where Adebayo goes, Daniel Brooks' character. She is my favorite character in the show, and my one thing with it is that although we got a little bit of her so far in this episode, and we also got a little bit of Economos, I don't think we got enough. I want more, but we have a whole season, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much right now, but I just want to see more of these characters and what conflicts they're also going with in our little gang here. I also want to see the team come back together. I'm sure that's going to happen as we go on. But speaking on what's happening to Chris with his whole family drama and trauma, that plays in a very interesting way where we follow him through you know, his dad's kind of pocket dimension, for lack of a better term. I don't know if that's the exact scientific term. I just like the idea that potentially in the DCU we're like really obsessed with pocket dimensions, and, you know, because it's like Augie had one, and then we also have Lex having one in Superman. So I like this idea that these are both kind of similar concepts. But when Chris goes through and finds this alternate universe where his brother and his dad are still alive and they have this great relationship, it's a lot emotionally. And the way this episode ends with Chris, Peacemaker 1, let's say, in a fight with other Chris from the alternate universe, Peacemaker 2, and Peacemaker 2 dying in the fray, now what happens? What is this going to open up for Chris? I'm just so excited for these emotional journeys we're going to go on. Honestly, guys, that is my favorite thing about Peacemaker. There is also an amazing action sequences. There is also a lot of fun, larger-than-life superhero stuff. There's a lot of comedy, but my favorite part about this show is the vulnerability. And we saw a lot of people being vulnerable because we also had a scene, I don't know if I can talk about it on YouTube, but if you've watched, you know what I'm talking about. And that caught me unawares. And when I looked it up after, I saw an interview with James Gunn where he was saying part of the reason why they wanted to do that scene is just to set the expectations for the audience and make it very clear that, you know, this is not Superman. This is not something that is for everyone. This is for adults. We're going to go full HBO. And what that means is that, you know, buckle up, baby, because Peacemaker is back. Still, even knowing what I was getting myself into with Peacemaker, that was a little bit jarring for me just because it was a lot. It felt so over the top, I wasn't even sure if it was real. But I don't hate that it was real, and I love that we just went for it. However, the fact that it was said by James Gunn that, like, this is just us preparing you for what's to come. What is to come? Not like that. Get your mind out of the gutter. What is going to be even more than that? Are we going to go more than that? Because this is just episode 1. So I guess there's going to be a lot of spicy stuff in this. House of the Dragon, move over, because Peacemaker Season 2 is here. So that's all I really have about this one. I think overall, if we're doing ratings, should I do ratings? I'm still muddling over this idea of, like, do I keep doing ratings and stuff, or do I just kind of give you guys my thoughts here? Let me know what you like in the comments, if you like the ratings or what you prefer, or if you just prefer that I give you, like, my vibes on whether or not you should watch this. So first of all, should you watch this? Yes. And if you haven't watched Peacemaker Season 1, go watch it. I might still go back and watch it and give you a little my thoughts on Season 1 just because that's how much I love this show, and I wanted to do that before Season 2, but I got busy. So maybe I will do that. Let me know if you want it, but definitely watch it. Definitely watch it. There's going to be a new episode next week, so you got a week to catch up. The other thing I will say is my overall rating, I think, for this episode, I think I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 right now. I like the new opening sequence. I love how it's still weird. I love how there are elements of Season 1 from it, and there's kind of some crossover, but in a different way. I think that's cool, but I think just with this episode, just because it's like our warm-up episode, we're not like fully amped yet. So I also think it's fine that it's kind of a 3.5. I definitely think you should still watch it because this is just episode 1. When we get into it, we're gonna get into it. And I think Peacemaker is a show that you really want to more judge it, not per episode, but as a whole. Because from Season 1, at least, everything really just, like I said, comes together in a really satisfying way by the end of that season. And I think Season 2 is going to be building towards a similar vibe. So that's what I have for this one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Are you loving it? Are you not loving it? Why not? Let's discuss. Also, I do have my reaction to episode 1 that'll be going up for members. So if you are a Golden Fang Gang member or higher, you get access to all of our members content on the channel. And please feel free to check that out and watch my commentary track. You can watch along with me and hear my reactions as they happened. And trust me, I had some reactions. That's all I have for this one. I'll see you next time. And until then, friends, stay nerdy. Bye. And if you like when I talk about DC stuff, click over here.